Welcome back, my dog means, to another to a random reaction video. Oh my god! Welcome back, my dog means, to the Dark Void ruled by me, 951. We're back to another random reaction video. My brain is melting right now because it's hot, and I just took a nap because it was so hot. And now I woke up. My brain's starting to wake up, but my brain's melted already, so it's not good. Also, my door's closed, so thankfully it's 9 at night, but it's still a little bit warm in here. I was planning to make videos earlier. It was too hot. Alright, but it doesn't matter. Who cares? I'm gonna survive, and then I'm gonna go open my door so that way I don't cook alive. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're gonna be watching Spiffing Brit. This video of is Necromancy overpowered? Yes, in any genre it is overpowered. In fact, any summoning ability is overpowered. Doesn't matter. Summoning is overpowered in any genre. Now, back on top, and I trying to remember if I reacted to Spiffing Brit once before. I think I did. I can't remember. Either way, if this is the first time, hello, this is Spiffing Brit. Here talking through a British voice. What the freak am I talking about? No, this is the first time I'm watching Spiffing Brit. If not, then we're gonna be watching this glorious British person who enjoys tea, even though I'd rather have soda instead. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And also a person who hates coffee as well. Okay, as I was saying, we're going to be watching his video. We're going to see what he does to Necromancy. Also, if you have never heard of Spiffing Brit, he basically does videos. I watched this video. My first video of watching him was basically XCOM when I found out there was a glitch to make everything time stop. It's glorious. Would have been very helpful if I knew that before. Alright, doesn't matter.
Is Necromancy overpowered?
I don't know why I said that at the end. Like I said, my brain is fried right now. And yes, Necromancy is overpowered. And plus...
Is Necromancy balanced?
No.
What even is Necromancy?
The power of the undead.
Is a wonderful art of trying to raise a family from the ground up.
Yeah.
As a supporter of reusing and recycling, I like to practice it whenever I get the chance.
Yes.
To test if Necromancy is broken, we'll be
yes.
playing one of my favorite strategy games, Total War Warhammer 3.
Oh, is it broken in this one too?
Wonderful fantasy strategy game where you can use dinosaurs to fight steam tanks.
Yeah.
Dealing with an ongoing invasion from the chaos god of diabetes. Now, whilst this game does have a dedicated...
Okay, hold up. I gotta pause this for a bit. The video is starting to skip a bit little. Oh, man. Seriously, I don't know why it does this. It does this like every once in a while. It just randomly happens. It literally just randomly happens. I'm hoping there's at least one ad here so that way it would fix itself. I don't know why ads help my computer fix itself. I don't know why.
Faction, the art of necromancy takes a bit of a back foot. Zombies and skeletons make up the base tier of units, which 99% of the players will ignore after the first few turns and instead recruit these massive unstoppable monsters.
It's true.
I am the Spiffing Brit.
But isn't that still considered necromancy because you're just summoning them from the dead anyway?
I take things that others ignore and turn them into a
way to
play games.
Oh yes!
We took Skyrim's terrible necromancy system and
that's right. There is a way to make the undead.
So today, I intend to do the same. I want to see if necromancy
I think I know what this is.
Overpowered.
I watched this in another video.
Campaign victory using just basic zombies. Ooh. I want to beat the zombie-only challenge.
Arise!
Well, grab a cup of tea and let's find out.
Alright, minions.
Like big boats and you cannot lie? You other gamers can't deny. Well, World of Warships is the boaty game where you get to ride around in battleships, carriers, and submarines.
So far they have which is hilarious how they collab with so many people.
Or you could be like me and accidentally crash your boat in a stationary island because, well, you were distractedly drinking a cup of tea. Now the Dolphins at Wargaming are hosting the Dunkirk 1940 event to commemorate the anniversary of Operation Dynamo, which was a legendary historical operation where hundreds of private civilian vessels rescued British, French, and Allied soldiers from an encircled position. As a history buff, it's a very exciting period to learn about. World of Warships will be introducing a unique port activity challenge that plays out like a tactical card game. You'll command a fleet of historic civilian vessels using ship-themed cards, make critical decisions to rescue stranded Allied troops at Dunkirk. You'll navigate through drifting sea mines, dodge enemy aircraft, and battle the unpredictability of British weather.
So it's a card game now.
Using your cards strategically and using expendable modifiers, you can overcome supply missions and maybe even riskier key missions. Master the deck, complete your missions, and earn historical rewards like the Tier 6 Premium Destroyer Gallant. Best of all, it's free to play on PC. So yes, it's a card-based strategy experience that pays homage to history whilst testing your naval wits. And if you're a new player, you can use my link down below to get 7 days premium, 1 million credits, 500 doubloons, a dynamo container, the Vesius tier 7 chip. Yes, anyway, onwards with the video.
Yeah, let's go. Back to Necromancy.
Vampire Accounts. A faction of vampire accountants. We'll be playing Selwyn Gorst of the Caravan of Blue Roses.
Ah, yes.
He's a traveling florist or something. His special faction abilities are all focused on improving zombies. We can
the undead!
Zombies after battle. We even make our zombies do poison damage.
Oh yeah, I've heard this one.
Extra armor. But
I heard this one.
This is going to be a ridiculous challenge.
Oh yeah.
Statistically, zombies are a pathetic roadblock.
But
yes, there are a lot of them in a unit, but with their attack stats.
But under the command of this guy, he will literally,
a fair fight.
Literally make an unlimited zombie.
Don't fight fair. So let's dive into the game and begin.
No one does.
Welcome to the world map on
in single player game.
This grand campaign. We start out with a rather strong army and a hero who we will rename to Skelly Bob. The opening move we are meant to do is take our really strong army and smash this weaker rat army as part of a tutorial experience. However, we are instead going to remove all non-zombie units from my army. I will be keeping the corpse card as this is a support unit that buffs our zombies.
Which
now,
is,
should you eventually get rid of your overpowered starting units when you begin a campaign? No, but I like a good challenge.
But hold up, but isn't there, but aren't they zombies?
Army of undead zombies.
Okay, let's go.
They look very menacing, but as far as this game is concerned, they are a near useless roadblock. Luckily, we're fighting a Skaven army, which similarly operates using pathetic meat shields. The main difference being my meat shields can be resurrected when they die, whilst theirs are sent to cheese heaven. Now, as I am a strategic British mastermind, you might be thinking I have some great grand plan for this first battle to secure victory, and well, the answer is yes. I will be using British World War I trench warfare strategies. Yes, we'll be slowly tiring out the enemy by sending infinite waves of expendable...
Before I continue on, what he's saying here is kind of true, except the original plan was that it was Russians that used the zombie method. Look it up. There were actually Russian zombies in, I think, World War I. Trust me. So, Pacific Brit, just to make sure that you're lore accurate, we're actually using the Russian zombie method here.
Troops in a straight line towards them. They'll never expect
straight lines.
The battle is going to be bloody.
Well, I guess that's different since the Russians literally just charged
each other. But after some time,
an improved version.
Close victory. He is wiped out, and we have also taken some pretty serious casualties. This is actually a good thing. Necromancy lets us raise the dead from battles, and well, the more die, the more that we can summon. Now, in the base game, this is actually a really overpowered ability. Just deliberately have bloody battles, and then use the massive stack of corpses to summon late-game units like Graveguard. But I am limited to just fighting with cheap Tier 1 useless zombies.
Okay, so just the regular zombies, got it.
Our army is clearly very weak, as even a basic squad of rats has dented our progress. Is the solution to adapt our strategies and diversify our frontline infantry? No,
not yet.
Let us instead double down. I think we need to summon a second army, led by our legendary Barry Bone Razor.
Hey!
I expect greatness from this gentleman.
It's Barry Bone Razor.
We can finally conquer our first settlement of Knobbly Gorge. Huzzah, our empire is now expanded to 2 cities. But before we can continue the war on rats, we must raise more undead zombies. A full 2 stacks of them would be perfect. I suppose now is also a good time to talk about the benefit of zombies. They have lots of health, they're dirt cheap to recruit and use. Each zombie costs 19 upkeep per turn. A pack of ghouls, however, costs 150 per turn. So it makes fielding huge armies in the early game much more affordable.
Also, if I wonder, I think you can make them into 0 amounts of cash.
Deal with the Cafe faction
to what? To 1 gold, I think? I don't know.
So a secure border is a really good idea for this difficult challenge. Our second fight takes us to Shamble Town, a little rat settlement. This time I've brought 26 units to overwhelm the rats. It doesn't matter how many scurrying slingers you have, I have enough bodies to absorb every rock that this field has to offer. The battle is,
but in the end, rats cannot handle the power of the undead.
We can simply revive with the Invocation of Nehek. This is a mass AoE heal spell that can best be described as perfectly balanced. We do have one dangerous moment where Barry the Bone Razor ran off to try and solo some rats. Now look, he might be a master necromancer, but 100 rats with pointy sticks almost killed him. Luckily, we just throw zombies at the problem and all is solved. This is a reminder of the mortality of the immortal. Turn 6 sees
away for the undead.
Yet a showdown versus the final boss of the rats, Sneer Frotskar, with 3 heroes and some very dangerous units. The game predicts we will lose most of our units, but I believe in our undead. So
why
let's
not?
do this.
Victory!
We slam thousands of zombies into thousands of rats in a chaotic fight.
It's like that thing.
Keeps our front line
We are weak, but together we're strong.
Another gets up and carries on the fight. But still, I'm not confident. The main problem we face are the rat assassins that will just beeline to killing our lords. Necromancers generally are slow old men who will die to a strong gust of wind. In a normal faction, if the lord dies, the troops might get upset and run away, but chances are they'll continue the fight. If a necromancer dies, well, they're the only thing actually keeping the army summoned. We do genuinely almost lose our lord to one persistent rat, but thankfully we can bravely run him away. Still, we prevailed and won, but those sneaky rats mostly fled before we could eliminate entire units. If we were using fast-moving cavalry and monsters, then we would have decisively destroyed
but in the end,
instead, here we are,
they got to live.
Zombies and retreating rats.
The flesh wall
Combination. Still, provided I can attack them next turn with both my armies, we'll win this no problem.
Alright, come on.
It's an ambush!
Oh, man.
Razor and his undead horde have been
again with this little guy.
Terrible situation. It is not looking good for us. Well, surely we can still clutch a victory. I mean,
don't worry, you can do it.
Oh, no, it's a valiant defeat. We do take a decent amount of the enemy with us, but still, Barry Bone Razor is dead, along with 2,000 zombies. The foul rat is then immediately hunted down, and his pitiful survivors are destroyed. You might think this is a terrible situation and will set us back for many turns, but a little bit of death never hurt a necromancer.
Because here we go.
Called Tim the Necromancer, and he will also be recruiting 19 zombies and getting ready to help us finish off the rat plan.
More undead!
Up the last of the rats hiding out in the flayed rock. This gives us 2 controlled regions and a growing force of 4 different armies, all wielding just undead zombies. Oh, and Barry Bone Razor is back. Yeah, I know he died, but we're a faction of necromancers, so we just dragged his corpse back.
It's alright. Just keep going back.
But a new enemy has revealed itself in the south. Kugath the Plague Father, a disgusting chaos monster that will spread plague and destruction if we let him live. So it's time we turn our attention to the big green blob and prepare to surprise
the most
war. I was
opposite. Hilariously, they would be on the same side, but right now they're on the opposite sides.
This is fine. Trust me, everything is going perfectly fine.
I know. Necromancy and infection should be together, but they're both different factions.
I'm about to be a shelf attached to a
so,
wall.
which one's better? Ooh.
Okay, I'm going to stack my 3 armies.
So let's see who's better. Infections
only advantage
or the
is
undead?
Just research the technology that raises the healing cap on our zombies by 100%. This is something we can exploit later in the game, but right now as he attacks,
my
the game
God,
is predicting a crushing defeat.
Fat as hell.
If we don't win this, the entire campaign is over. I will lose all of my territory before I'm able to rebuild, so I must win. Let's fight. What followed is one of the most
undead
I've ever managed.
Hold the line.
War. My huge front line bracing against a tide of green abominations.
Hold the line.
Is all about debuffs and regenerating health. My strategy is all about using healing spells to keep my forces alive. This meant that 2 very tanky front lines were countering each other incredibly well, but I had one advantage. My battlefield healing cap. You see, to balance the game and stop situations where units could be healed forever and become unkillable, the game introduced a battle healing cap. The problem is we've just doubled our battle healing cap with technology. This effectively doubles their health pool, making our front line a solid wall of zombies. Even with my wall now stronger than ever, the enemy has huge monstrous units that are so armored I genuinely can't do damage to them. Instead, I have to sacrifice entire units to keep them pinned down and tire them out.
Oh my God.
They get so tired and worn down they begin to crumble. Thousands of zombies were lost, but we did win. And
the undead,
because of the power of necromancy,
that's what the undead are.
Immediately resurrect most of them. We march south to take
that's the undead for you.
And with our enemies
they're all
scattered trying to rebuild,
that's what the power of the undead are.
Capturing settlements and eliminating the Nurgle threat without needing to have a proper fight. So some of you might have already written a lengthy complaint in the comment section about this game looking terrible. And yes, that's I'm actually playing on medium graphic settings. You see, when the average battle has 6,000 slow-moving zombies,
right.
your computer starts to take a bit of a hit. If I played on Ultra, I could probably fry an egg on my graphics card. Anyway, with our starting area,
which is why this game will never be on consoles.
Upgrades
because
make
I
this
don't think
challenge
consoles will be able to
possible.
handle
We are on a
this.
time limit though for two
They'll probably
reasons.
crash.
One is that the AI in this game has an anti-player bias, meaning some factions will beeline across the map just to fight you. And the other reason is because the longer we play, the more the AI will get rid of their basic units and start fielding huge death stacks of mythical monsters.
Oh, thank God.
Eventually, it will become statistically impossible for us to win any fight, so we need to outpace the game. To our distant
we need to win
deep region
by overwinning.
Many unique monuments I want to grab. This one can give a physical resistance bonus to our zombies and lower the cooldown of our spells. The only thing standing in our way is a minor faction of trolls and a major quantity of rats. Yeah, that ruin of Bitter Bay might look abandoned, but you don't get 100 rat corruption for nothing. Now, the start of our campaign has been a little touch and go, and Necromancy isn't exactly looking overpowered yet, but our starting zombie army is getting ready to come online. Our main campaign strategy is one
more powerful.
Numbers.
Old Man Jenkins.
Those zombies and made them at least a little bit usable. Well, I've dived down the technology tree to take the zombies from a useless 5 attack and 6 defense to Herman zombies here now having 30 armor, 19 attack and 21 defense.
Very good.
That's just fantastic. Wow.
That is good.
As Herman has reached level 12, we can pick up some of his unique bonuses, like Unholy Fury here that provides plus 12 attack to all zombies and all armies. This is an insane bonus to have. So we start our trolling of the trolls with the Helman Gorst mega stack of undead. With this, we can besiege Mandalore Gaming's holy site known as Big Barter. The fight is simple enough, and Helman levels up, letting us grab a 10% war for all zombies, which is insanely strong. It's basically a flat 10% less damage. Normally, when leveling, you can only pick 1 skill point, but I play with a mod pack that grants 2 skill points.
Are you serious?
Level. I find that this makes the AI legendary lords a lot more legendary, which is unfortunately a decision that kind of bites me in the bottom later. But enough of that. Our second skill is Uncanny Resilience. This is the single most overpowered nonsense skill in the game. It raises the healing cap of zombies by 500%. And because the developers blundered the calculation here, the healing cap actually stacks and multiplies.
Oh my
For
God.
example, each of our individual Necromancer lords can also raise the healing cap of zombies, all of it getting multiplied. Yes, this is not even the maximum that we can achieve, but already our undead have an absurd health pool. So the trolls are gone and Helman can finally grab the final part of our main starting strategy, the Ever Onward skill. This not only gets a plus 50% weapon strength to zombies, it also grants them passive healing in combat.
Oh my
this
God.
means that we don't even need to cast healing spells to have our front zombies begin to heal. This is incredibly overpowered and absurd that the developers even included it into the game.
Well, the zombies are weak as heck.
Ready for duty.
They must have thought that.
Brit von Karstein.
They must have thought, hey, do you know what?
The only way to
Let them
recruit a
have this
legendary lord is
because
to
the undead are
confederate
weak
your
as heck
factions
right now.
together. But the AI is a mess to deal with in diplomacy, so I've grabbed a mod that lets me take in defeated factions as refugees. Of course, we will recruit this lord focused on vampire knight units and fill him with useless zombie chaff. This mod might seem overpowered and unfair for me to get this advantage, but remember, the AI also can recruit fallen faction lords. This, of course, could absolutely 100% not go wrong, and the hubris of my decision won't backfire later. That's a British person guarantee. Would you look at that? The Skaven are attacking Imric. He's the dragon-riding elf who lives in that fortress. Now, really, I kind of want to have the fortress. It's cool and has a unique building, so I will have my army stand outside the settlement, watch them fight, and then finish off whoever the winner is. And it's a rat victory. Wow, that is Imric defeated, and a brand new opportunity presented for us. There are 2 surviving rat armies in total that, whilst weakened, would be difficult to fight. Luckily, I have an exploit for this very moment. I'm going to cheese the fight by having Helman initiate a siege, trapping the first Skaven army inside the fortress walls. This makes them unable to reinforce and assist the second Skaven army that is positioned outside of the city. So I have my 2 of our armies scroll up to them, and yes, we now have a perfectly balanced, unfair, one-sided battle. I love you, cheesable game mechanics. Well, I might have made a slight tactical blunder. You see, I took Gorst on a magical adventure to a legendary settlement, thinking that it might be abandoned, and no, it's filled with angry violent rats that want to fight. Unlike our first rat battles, these rats have Gatling guns, helping abominations, and even catapults. On the other side, I have zombies, zombies, and you guessed it, more zombies. Let's see how it goes. The fight starts off with me.
I'm sure it's fine. You're the undead.
Hoping that the enemy's artillery can't reach me. Unfortunately, I forgot that most of the enemy's ranged slinger units can outrun my zombies, so we ran into a slight problem where our undead were just getting kited around the map. The fight was a little bit of a mess. We lost Gorse to a barrage of slings, but thankfully the morale of the rats broke. This was almost entirely thanks to the zombies now hitting harder and lasting longer thanks to passive healing. So
that's great.
It was mightily close, but we ended up winning the day. Against other factions, this wouldn't have worked.
No.
Just got fortunate the rats have some of the worst morale of any units in the entire
game. Are you serious?
The following turn, we'd win the siege for the settlement, but we can't do anything with it for now. In order to build
Naga Shizar,
we need to wait for the population.
I said Naga.
But as soon as we
Naga,
zombies will become even stronger. I would say this ends the opening stage of our game and sets us up for the master strategy. We currently have zombies that can be healed for over 10 times their already massive health bar, making them the 10 units in the entire game.
Oh wait,
for the next stage of our quest, we need to travel to I can't believe it's not Egypt and seize a really evil-looking pyramid. Get sidetracked on my way to the desert because I've discovered Scarbrand. He's a big evil chaos demon who can be near impossible to kill. Luckily, I have infinite zombies and he drops a great bonus when defeated. So I round up Barry, Herman, and Manfred to attack. The first fight versus Korn is an easy auto-resolve, but Scarbrand isn't home. However, his units are much stronger than rats, so if we do face a full stack, we'll have a major challenge. So 3 stacks of zombies catch up to Scarbrand with just 4 units and 2 heroes. That's a tiny army, but the game predicts we're about to be entirely wiped out, despite outnumbering his forces 6-1. Maybe I've bitten off more than my
How powerful is this guy?
Let's find out.
Well, he's strong, but my God.
He's really chill when it comes to this battle. He just stands around and allows me to bring in all of my zombies as reinforcements. We now have over 4,000 zombies on the field, and we begin the descent into hell. But as our front lines clash and Scarbrand starts to get his first few kills, something magical happens. The zombies, instead of dying, just simply get back up again. Everywhere across the battle, all of these high-level units with massive stats, for some reason, just can't beat a zombie in a fight. Oh, this is incredible. Statistically, the game thinks we stood no chance, but in practice, we're unstoppable. Things get completely
you gotta go in.
Control when I
you gotta go in.
Magic attack bonuses, and we see a zombie achieve over 100 melee attack. This is meant to be the game's worst possible unit, a mindless, rotting corpse that is a meat shield. But no, they're now somehow able to fight back. In total, despite the enemy getting 385 kills, we've only lost 169 zombies.
Dear God.
All of whom we get back from the end battle reward choice. There was genuinely no cost at all for us to do this battle.
Arise!
The main reason we chased Scarbrand down is so that we could grab the unique Blood Quencher trait. This gives all of Hellman's troops more charge bonus and more weapon strength. Oh, the snowball grows even more powerful now. This is going to be a big turn for us.
What the freak is that thing?
West, our main force is laying siege to the Great Black Pyramid. But back home in the east, a surprise invasion has been launched. I have been bribing my neighbors to maintain good relations with them, but somehow the strongest faction in our game, the Maggot Host, has run across the entire game map and through independent people's lands and charged down one of our weak defensive armies. This army is so pathetic, I didn't even bother to rename the Lord. The game is predicting a decisive defeat, but surely I've proven that the power of zombies is not to be underestimated. So I line up my brave army of elite zombies and get ready to victory. Okay, unfortunately, yes, the battle was a complete disaster. Still, whilst the game shows a decisive defeat, it's actually not that bad. We defeated some of the enemy's army, and the troops that we did lose cost us basically nothing, so we can just build a new army and go again for round 2. But now it's time for the main event, the Great Siege of the Pyramid. 4 stacks of undead skeletons versus 3 stacks of zombies. Who will win?
It's undead versus undead.
Comment with your prediction.
Mummies versus vampires.
News: the enemy's reinforcements will take 3 minutes to arrive, and with some technology, I can now vanguard deploy my undead. So we should be able to snipe the first army and then reform the line when our own reinforcements arrive. This time, our strategy works works flawlessly. The enemy front line melts like butter against our much more advanced zombies. The zombies, of course, heal when attacking, and they can heal forever. Any damage they take is simply regained nearly instantly.
So wait, how the heck are they getting healed when they kill a skeleton?
Reinforcements to come. The enemy
Because they're
has
skeletons.
one advantage.
Are they stealing their mana?
Ranged attacks. As my zombies only heal in melee, if the enemy can kite me around whilst hitting me with ranged, I will eventually lose. However, Herman here recently learned how to cast Winds of Death. He would like to show it to you.
Let's see.
And oh dear, there goes 3 entire units of archers. That's
nice.
perfection. After a bit more of running our zombies around, smashing our enemy's flanks, and sending Manfred to deal with the artillery, the battle is won.
Hey!
We lost a total of 87 units to the
Okay.
enemy's 6,709.
And you fight against some 4 different lords.
So I should probably answer why I decided to run all the way to the desert to
Let's see it.
this pyramid
Let's see it.
and Galbaraz. Well, these settlements have unique buildings. Galbaraz has the Ruins of Morcaine, a site that grants our zombies increased weapon strength and spell resistance.
Ooh.
The pyramid has the Vault of Nagash,
The Vault of
a
Nagash,
huge
got it.
building that will give even more spell resistance to our zombies. This resistance stacking is really getting out of control.
Yeah, I
Not
get
only
it.
do our zombies heal constantly,
I get
but now
it.
the damage they do take is getting minimized as much
Oi.
as possible. Yes, it is
That's
quite
the undead.
silly. And
That's the
definitely
undead.
not what the developers intended.
They're evolving.
So where do we go
They're
from here?
evolving.
Of course, our mission is a campaign victory, but I also have an additional goal of the utmost importance, a nemesis of sorts. You see, this game has a monstrous faction full of the most horrible creatures of chaos. I am, of course, talking about the French.
Oh
Okay,
my
really,
god.
they are called the Bretonians,
Yeah.
but everything in this game is stolen from our world map.
Yeah.
Germany is the Empire, Egyptians are the Khemri,
I thought that was the
and
rats.
Britain is the home of an archdemon hell-bent on destroying the world. I wonder what the creators meant by this.
What the
So
heck is
yes,
happening
I
here?
want to launch an unholy crusade and raise this game's version of France into the ground. I decided
the
to attack
rats were
that
German.
Nurgle army running around my lands with a new army of zombies. Surely nothing can go wrong this time, and we will win the fight. Our leader is Arabelle, and unfortunately on medium graphics it looks like she's contracted a tropical skin disease.
Yeah.
With more zombies, I'm sure we'll win. So we load into
Alright.
the fight to our classic.
But it is,
Death Ball. Once
it
again,
is,
however, the
accurate
enemy is simply
to
better.
the undead.
Yep, they can deal a lot more damage, and they can also regenerate health too. No matter how many zombies
got
I
this.
throw at their leader, it's simply not enough. Their health bar hardly even moves.
Oh my god.
So even though we managed to catch a few units here and there, they still win. Am I sad or upset that
No.
I lost a few thousand zombies?
Not really.
No, of
Because-
course not. Necromancy is perfectly balanced.
Arise.
So despite losing nearly 30
Arise.
units, I can instantly raise the dead to refill these 2 armies. And I'm certain we'll get them next time. Okay, third time's the charm. We have 3 stacks of undead.
God.
They have basically all the same units as last time. So can we do it? Can
It
we
can't.
actually finally defeat their
Come on.
infinite regenerating lord? Well, we did it.
Yay.
Thousands of our undead
Hey.
were made dead again. The army was defeated. If there's one thing that I've learned, it's that the Nurgle faction are the greatest threat to us. They have
Oh, yeah.
healing spells, AoE damage
Woo.
spells, and lots of strong infantry.
It's
Still,
about diseases,
eventually,
baby.
Overwhelming numbers.
It's
and
about
a lot of
diseases,
attrition
baby.
will win the day. Several turns later, I'm just peacefully
Dwarves.
patrolling my border to the south when a dastardly dwarf
Ay,
named
ay, ay.
Thoric Ironbrow decided to ambush our brave, noble heroes. We're never meant to win this fight, and
Ooh.
genuinely I don't even think I can do it. But perhaps with the power of our tier 1 basic chaff, we can pull off an
Attack!
upset. I
Charge!
mean, after all, we have 2 full armies. And, no, actually we don't. It turns out Thoric has used a lightning strike move, and that has eliminated all of my reinforcements. So this means that Moldwyn, a pathetic level 2 lord, is the only one in the fight. There is
hold
absolutely
it.
no way we could win this fight.
No, you're not.
I mean, a half stack of Nurgle forces without a legendary lord has been absolutely thrashing us for the last 10 turns. How will I fare against a stack of dwarven power?
I don't know, man.
Well, it's an incredibly challenging fight. The only way
Wait,
I
you
could
may be
defeat
surviving.
even the weakest dwarven units was to surround them on all sides with zombies. Even so, as the battle goes on, more and more of our units were getting destroyed. And Thoric himself, well, he was fine. We could genuinely do basically no damage to him. Luckily for us, we threw so many corpses at his feet that he got so tired his morale eventually broke along with his army. This might seem like a very anticlimactic way for a dwarf to stop fighting when he could have very easily soloed my entire army, but hey, that's video game logic for you. By
Victory is
defeating
victory.
him, our lord now gets a bonus that allows his zombies to get +3 armor-piercing damage, making them even more effective against future fights against dwarves.
Okay.
This is fantastic. Okay, you know, seeing as he started, I might as well go and finish off the dwarves to the south as revenge. It's time for our second dwarf fight, but this time with Baron von Neversperm leading the charge.
What?
His zombies are not as powerful as our main lords, but
hey,
the challenge.
this should
Seems
work.
to be going kind of well with our zombies running past the dwarven front line and locking their range units into melee. We have no way to deal with the enemy's heroes and lords because we basically can't do damage to them. So the strategy just becomes keeping them distracted for the entire battle with a few stacks of zombies. Also, I noticed a really weird behavior with the AI. Basically, in battles, they would be very happy to send their range units into a melee fight against zombies. I think it's because their threat assessment is just wrong. They're basing their decisions off of the fact that zombies are meant to be a useless tier 1 cannon fodder unit, not a frontline tank with armor piercing. I guess this is one of those moments of, hey, be careful who you bully in school, because they might come back as a near immortal zombie Chad. So another glorious victory.
So they just keep fighting.
Run out of
They just keep using weapons. They're
city.
long range.
My first stack of lords are heading to Bretonia to deal with the French. And my home defense force is trying to save our troll allies from an ongoing Nurgle invasion. Ideally, I want a strong, healthy ally on my borders so that I don't have to worry about that front line. Okay, our ally is not having a good time. He is desperate for support, and Tamakan is currently making a ridiculous amount of money looting his settlement.
And Tamarek the maggot.
If it took us 10,000 zombies to defeat a small Nurgle army, I know that there is no way for me to actually beat him. Statistically, Nurgle units are just better than us. But I am the Spiffing Brit, and that means I always have a trick up my sleeve. Every faction can recruit heroes. These heroes are costly and are mostly used as overpowered battlefield units. But if you have the money to spare, you can use them for assassinations. With our armies consisting of cheap zombies, we have loads of money to waste on assassins. It won't eliminate the threat, but it will mess with the AI, and crucially give me a few extra turns to build up a greater defense force. With the support of our ally High Queen Khalida, we make our attack on the dwarven city. It proves to be a super easy fight, and also the final fight needed to complete a short campaign victory. This is very good.
Let's see.
Some lovely buffs. However, I want more. I want to remove those dastardly Bretonians from existence and conquer my ancestral homelands of Albion. Also, what about annoying Nurgle dude running?
He's desperate.
We still have work cut out for ourselves.
What out, chaps? Operation D-Day has begun as our liberating forces
on
the beaches of
Charge!
France. The storming of Briode is a decisive victory as well. How could the AI have predicted 10,000 zombies would just rise from the sea without any warning? However, even surprised Bretonians are manipulative sausages, as they appear to have allied nearly an entire continent.
What?
The Empire, Wood Elves, High Elves, and Dryads will be pushing to put down the undead threat. Well, surely that just means more bodies for us to resurrect.
Better be.
Invasion does not go uncontested, and rapidly we have a full stack of Bretonians charging towards Barry Boneraiser. Oh my, however will we fare against Leon Lebel? Of course, we just deploy our zombies in the face of our enemy. I can also now summon zombies using magic on top of our enemy's range units, meaning they don't even get a chance to send off a volley. And whilst yes, the infantry does do damage to our zombies, provided they're in melee combat, they just simply heal it back.
Hold the line, zombies! Hold the line!
Even their big damage spells were healed up.
Oh, she's surrounded by the undead.
Such a broken gameplay feature. Cheers, devs, for adding it in. So that's a nice easy victory, but this is still a major faction. As that army retreats to hide behind its castle walls, two new armies descend from the north. I, of course, summon a brand new army to assist Manfred in the event they try and retake their lands.
Yeah, we can't. This is the only place you can summon the undead.
Terribly, it's going really, really badly. Our ally will likely be dead in a few turns, and that means we'll have to face the entire Nurgle faction. In preparation, see if you can guess it now, another zombie army!
Arise!
So original. So Volkmar the Grim has decided to attack Manfred. Volkmar is an Empire chappie, but evidently he's not happy with the way that we've been invading his Bretonian friends. Now, the good news is defeating him will grant us an incredible buff, plus free attack and defense on all zombies. The downside is that in order to get it, we have to watch thousands of innocents die. Wait, hang on a second. That's not a downside. That's
not a downside.
Entertainment.
That's the end. That's the undead. Send them over.
Watchers are already wounded zombies.
Send them to the enemy.
Against the late game Empire infantry. The only challenge is fending off enemy archers, but even so, we only lose 102 zombies to the Empire's loss of 831. Oh no, the great Nurgle invasion is upon us. Tamarkan the Maggot Lord with two armies has descended upon Karak Karkatet,
the Maggot host.
A small village defended by
Hold the
two
line!
weaker armies. Let's see how this battle shapes up. Despite my best efforts and valiant attempts
God.
by undead, we only took out 243 of the enemy's forces. In total, just 3 units wiped out.
Oh my
and probably
God.
a huge amount of experience given to them. This is a total disaster. Okay, fighting Nurgle is a bad idea. We'd probably need one of our main stacks to come back home to win, but as they're on the other side of the battle, it just doesn't make sense. Luckily, I can recruit an entire new stack of 20 zombies each turn, meaning we can keep Nurgle in a perpetual loop of just fighting the
hold them
same
off.
undead army over and over again.
War of attrition.
Like an endless purgatory. However, there is still a fate worse than that. For over on the Bretonian front, we're now facing the legendary lords of all the defeated Bretonian factions rolled into one. Yeah, remember that mod I installed that allowed me to recruit Manfred? Well, the Lioness is here, with 3 armies about to solo poor innocent Manfred. Now remember, 3 full armies are not enough to defeat 1 Nurgle, so let's just see how one of mine does against 3 of theirs. Of course, it's an absolute thunderdome. It took me a few moments to realize that all of the enemies were attacking with fire damage thanks to their lord. In the words of Brass Eye, this is the one thing we didn't want to happen.
Yep.
All undead units take extra damage from fire, especially from range.
They are
It's not
undead.
a pretty fight, but it is still a glorious victory for us.
Hey!
In the end, if we can deal with 3 armies in one go, then there is nothing the Bretonian AI can do.
Sweet.
Breaking news, ladies and
Okay,
gentlemen.
here we
Update on the Bretonian front. Yep, there are only a handful of settlements left to take.
They win?
So the Bretonians have been trickling in, but ultimately, if a greatsword infantry can't deal with a rotting pile of bones, why even bother trying?
Neat.
Looks like the Frenchies are going to kick the bucket.
Alright then.
And there we have
Victory!
it. We've finally gone far enough north to discover the universe's equivalent of Britain. Look, it's the Isle of Wights. Just like the real deal, this bad boy can fit so many aging ghouls inside of it. And against our Bretonian friends on the mainland,
They
we're
win?
having an
You
easy
win?
time. One of our lords walks up to a settlement, sieges it instantly, and then summons a new army with a bunch of
Nice.
cheap zombies to defend it so that he can move on to the next one. It's a strategy that works so well we can do it a second time with Manfred. Wow, these zombies really are something. The AI is losing its mind now as they charge the Fey Enchantress into my newly
God.
recruited lord with a stack of basic zombies. And well,
Sweet, look at
it's
this.
a walk in the park. This is an army that didn't exist last turn and it just wiped you out. We finished turn
What is-
86 with 2 new
You're doing it.
settlements, one of
You're
which
doing
grants
it.
us even more buffs. To our west, however, an invasion from the elves is underway. Of course, most elves have never seen a zombie before and will probably class it as a useless unit, so I'm excited to see how they face off against my unique version of the undead, especially now that the Vault of
Oi.
Nagash has just been completed. Oh,
Ooh.
spells will do nothing. Sensing the inevitable doom, Elspeth pieces out of the war, and the settlement of Coroni pitches a last-stand battle against Gorst.
Okay.
There are, of course, no survivors.
Yep.
This cool armor, though, the Helm of Dreyska. It gives us a 2% chance to gain a good trait each turn, and a 1% chance to just straight up die.
Aye.
Yeah, I guess that's fun for gamblers, but why would you ever use this? In total, there are just 3 settlements in Bretonia controlled
Put on
by the
that
French,
useless
so
one.
we are on the verge of completing my true campaign victory. In an unexpected twist, the Chaos Dwarves have decided to attack us. Unfortunately
What?
for them, I have about 10 armies just chilling at home, itching
Oh,
for
okay.
a fight, or maybe
That's good.
they're itching because they're made of decaying, rotting bodies. But who knows? I want to fight anyway.
Doesn't matter. Who cares? Just send them in.
And Grungzint, we've just
Hey.
one settlement remaining. Castle Artois, the last bastion of Bretonia. And we'll have this bad boy next
Yes.
turn. On the Chaos Dwarf
It would
front,
end
I'm
them.
summoning an entire stack of zombies from thin air. Yes, this is such a broken build. The ability to just teleport a
Arise.
full army into existence at the click of my
Arise.
fingers means that the AI simply can't react to my actions. I think it's the equivalent of playing chess against someone who can turn any piece into a queen at any moment. They don't have to play by the same rules as you. So the Chaos Dwarves attack, expecting an overwhelming victory. However, I've built maximum defensive buildings in all of my territories because I have nothing else to spend my money on, meaning that these poor sausages are in for a rude awakening. I even have an undead dragon on the garrison.
Yep.
That said, their leader is a super dangerous wizard who starts the battle by basically casting an instant death spell on one of my zombies.
Okay.
I retort by sending some spells back along with my towers, which
And him!
to instantly kill him.
Oh,
What?
God.
I think this must have been some kind of physics bug because there's no way any of my spells should have been able to one-hit him. Anyway, Anyway, cheers, devs, for that.
Whoa.
And
They
so
run.
on turn 90, the defenders of Castle Artois run out to face us. And it's an easy victory, giving us the final part of my Bretonian puzzle. It's glorious, and I am incredibly satisfied. But we must now begin the march with Barry and Gorst to claim those lovely British Isles. Gorst lands on the Isle of Wight with his invasion force. For some reason, the demons that usually inhabit this land have been getting dominated by the French. A curious thing, as the French have never managed to invade the UK, and that's a certifiable British history fact. The Lioness decides to attack poor innocent Barry, but of course we're fueled by a desire to reclaim Britain, so it's an easy auto-resolve. We then sweep in and colonize Conquata and take the Isle of Wight. Okay, we need to rename Conquata because that doesn't feel very British, so it shall now be known as New Swindon. But this is it, ladies and gents, the final turn 93 of the game. We just have our brave hero Barry sweep up.
But there's a time limit in this game?
And there it is, Albion reclaimed and the Bretonians defeated. I do think I have in fact proved that yes, Necromancy is indeed overpowered.
Oh yeah!
This has been one of the most entertaining campaigns of Warhammer 3 I've ever played. I strongly recommend this refreshing gameplay style. Most of my normal campaigns end when I create a single hero that can solo an entire army, but here we are using Soviet wave tactics to nip away our enemies.
He just said it.
Always win, but when we lost, it always cost the enemy more than it cost us, and that's what I like about grand strategy.
War of attrition. War of attrition.
Sponsorship.
We're the undead. Necromancy will always win.
This is now.
For we're the undead.
And a huge thank you to our lovely patrons and channel members for funding this video. Of course, you've already watched the video yourself and supported us, and you've probably already subscribed. So thank you very much. If you
want to subscribe to you, but at this point, I keep forgetting to do that.
Look no further than this on screen now. I get the feeling that you're going to like it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for enjoying the show today, and I'll see each and every one of you in the next one. Have a lovely day, and goodbye for now.
All right then, I wanted to get through the thing. Okay, so as I was saying, yes, I hope you enjoyed today's video watching Spiffing Brit. Of course, once again, if this is the second time we're watching him, basically destroy a game with exploits. Like I said, go watch Spiffing Brit. He's a great guy. I watched many of his videos. Like I said, many games I'm going to be using this in one of my games. I'm gonna need to go back to XCOM too, because I want to go run through that. Literally. I know people say the exploits are bad, but here's the thing. Do you own my game? Do you own anyone else's game? No? Okay, then quiet down, please. I ain't playing. It's my game. If I want to ruin a game with glitches, cheats, and exploits, I will do that. That's my own. Okay, either way, sorry, I went on a rant there. By the way, hope you enjoyed this video. Comment, subscribe down below to join my Dark Army. Seriously, you got no choice in the matter. You're my Dark Minions. I'm your Dark Ruler. You have no choice. Besides, even if you refuse, I will just summon you from the dead with Necromancy after I'm finished with you guys. Alright? Like and share the video to help spread my influence around. Glaze it on to help spread my influence and to help my influence grow more. Take that as you will. And don't forget to also look at my channel every once in a while to see if I upload or not. I used to say during the week, but after I went my almost 3 months hiatus, I decided, you know what? I need to say every once in a while to make sure that you guys know that I'm making videos, because you never know. I may disappear. Either way, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying again, not soon enough. All right, I'm not saying I will disappear again this soon. I'm just saying one day I'll just all of a sudden disappear to fix my brain again. All right, doesn't matter. And yeah, that's about it. And also, if you want to watch this video without my beautiful voice, I'll leave you down below. Besides, Spiffing Brit's voice way more better than mine. And for right now, my dark undead minions, dismiss.